Hello, hello, friends. It's time for Thought Shifting Thursday.
Hello.
Adjusting this a bit. So, last week we were talking about coaching yourself to success in 2024. Kind of went over our system for the practical ways to, create action steps and hold yourself accountable. Have a weekly list and check it twice. Um, and it cut out on Facebook, so you didn't get the whole thing. But if you want to see that, either go to our YouTube station. The link is in the description, or is it on the YouTube?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
sure.
and it's also on our Instagram. So today, wanted to talk about consciousness coaching. So what we find is people come to coaching because they want to accomplish some specific goal, improve some area of their life. And what they find through our system of consciousness coaching, which involves pivoting, which I don't know if we'll get into today or not. We've done several videos on it before, though. Um, but what people discover through the system is that what's more important than achieving the goal is having the consciousness to achieve the goal. So that's what we're talking about. And so I want to ask you, bring you into the conversation. You weren't here last week because you weren't
I
feeling
am
well.
feeling better now. Thank
Good,
you.
excellent. And so you had a coach for many years, and so what benefit did you get out of that, consciousness-wise?
Well, it makes me think about how to approach a subject, how to approach a situation, or you know, go outside of it a little bit,
Hmm.
instead of just jumping into it without thinking about um, what will happen after I open my mouth or I react in a negative way. Um,
Uh-huh.
my coach, yeah, I don't know, remember how many years I coached with
Meredith.
Meredith, but it was more about what I saw myself doing. Um, and she really helped a lot with trying to figure out how to get closer to my son, which has been in my mind for years and years and years. And I owe her some of that
Hmm.
um,
So
success.
and so now you don't have a coach now. So
I
how
don't
are
have a coach
how
now.
how are you coaching yourself conscious? Because this is about coaching oneself.
Right.
So how do you do it without a coach now?
Again, that's the main thing is
Hmm.
I think about the situation more instead of reacting to it.
Uh-huh.
And I really put a lot of thought into what would happen if I do this instead of just doing that
Hmm.
and winging it. And
Yeah.
sometimes I do that if I don't think that nothing bad is going to happen at the other end of it. But it feels like I'm more present, and I guess I just think about things
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. I think we ought to do a demonstration, quick demonstration of the pivoting, because that is the hallmark of what we do. Well, but first I'll just say, generally speaking, it's really about shifting one's consciousness, right? And it
Right.
helps to have a coach, but if you can't afford a coach, you have time to put into it, you want to coach yourself, then you become your own coach, and you watch yourself, you catch yourself, as you say, step
Right.
back, be
Right.
the observer. That's something in esoteric literature and self-help and new thought is to be the quiet, the silent observer, watching yourself, right?
Right.
In our classes, one of the things that I do as an exercise is I have people talk about themselves from the third person perspective. Um,
It
and
really
it's
makes a big difference
Yeah, so
when
it's
you step back and identifying as that other self.
right. So it's
Yeah.
identifying as the soul self, and what we find is when people talk about themselves in the third person. So in other words,
We're
hey,
kinder.
kinder, more compassionate, more
Yes.
loving
Yes,
than
for
how we
some.
tend to talk to ourselves in our heads, right?
Yes, yes.
So Patrick had a great week this week. He was also, had a cold for a bit, so he got to work out first time yesterday. Had a great time. And by the way, I love this guy. That's one thing we always encourage people to do. How do you feel from the presence of your soul about your personal self? And if somebody says, they're okay, well, they're not identified with their soul self, because the soul self is pure love, right?
Mm-hmm.
One definition.
Right.
So you know that if you're not speaking with the utmost compassion about yourself, you're not coming from soul presence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one little tip that I wasn't planning on talking about, but came out of the
Yes.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, who's with us? Warm Smiles. All right. Oh, yeah, I know who that is. And so let's see. And so then just coming up with systems for shifting your consciousness when it's negative, right? Talked a little bit about that last week. We use the pivoting process. There are many different ways to do it, but going to demonstrate the pivoting process. So what's the most challenging thing in your life right now?
The most challenging is dealing with my siblings
Mm-hmm.
and keeping the peace within the family.
Okay. So let's do the process. So close your eyes. Tell me, what is it that you really, really want for your family system, for your relationship the relationship between all your siblings?
I want us all to get along.
Okay? How does it feel, as you just said, I want us all to get along?
Great.
Great, okay. No doubts.
No doubt.
Good, excellent. All right. So you can open your eyes. So now here's where the measurement comes in, which is the most important part of the pivoting process, because when we measure anything, then it brings our awareness to it, and then we can improve, right? So over the last 30 days, what percentage of the time, good time period, because we went through the holidays, over the last 30 days, average day, what percentage of the time, when you thought about your family siblings for whatever reason, right? Because there's drama going on or whatever, or maybe just you think about this person, what percentage of that time, average day, have you been focused on, I just want us to get along, compared to, this is a shit show, man.
Honestly, I'm not thinking about it that much.
Right, but when
I think about it, I'm thinking about that I want the harmony and peace within our brothers and sisters. Maybe a
15%. Okay, and that's not at all uncommon. Usually what I find, if something's really challenging them, it's below 10% to start out.
Mm-hmm.
Human nature, we tend to, when something's really challenging us, we tend to be focused on the problem rather than the solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what will it be like, watch what happens with this, intuitively, when instead of 15%, let's say 60% of the time, even if nothing's changed, but what's changed is your consciousness, 60% of the time, when you think about them, you've just trained yourself to pivot from the problem to, I just want us to get along. How will it be for you intuitively?
It would be great.
Yeah?
It would be a lot better.
Right. Better for you, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, but let me ask, what will it be like then when it's 75 to 80% of the time, intuitively? Focus on it. Just want us to get along.
Yes, I'm just thinking of all the muck. I'm sorry.
So it's important to know, sometimes in this process, that's what happens is, if you don't think it's possible, is what you did is you pivoted to what you want, you felt better, then you pivoted back to what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important to recognize.
Right, and I did recognize that, and I was trying to figure out how to change it in my head.
So when it's 75 to 80% of the time consistently focused on, I just want us to get along, what will it be like?
It would be a great triumphant, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And how about 95 to 100% consistently?
I wouldn't give a shit. Excuse me. I wouldn't give a damn, I guess.
Yep. So you could see, if you're watching carefully, at each level of, higher percentage, your smile got bigger, right? So, and that's what happens. So intuitively, we know that when we're focused on what we want more than what we don't want, um, things get better. So how it gets better for you is you won't be worrying about it as much.
Right.
You'll be, the opposite of worry is trust, right? When we're in trust, we're much more effective at creating change than when we're in worry, right?
Yes.
So what that means is, and you've experienced this, when you show up with your brothers and sisters at 95%, your energy is completely different than when it's 15%.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's how it works.
Yeah.
So, how it's described, the word pivoting I took from, different teachers have been using it for years, but it's very prevalent in the Abraham Hicks teaching. And so as they explain it, if I'm feeling discomfort, it means I'm focused on what I don't want. So that becomes the cue or the reminder to pivot my attention from what I don't want to what I do want. The measurement, this is the most important part, is you write
I
down,
have not been measuring.
not for this, right?
Well, it just became a little bomb today.
Okay.
So it brought it up again.
Right. So, so you write it down every day. You just write down a number. This is for today, of whatever areas you're wanting to improve in your
Right.
life. So today it might be 15 or higher since we've had this discussion.
Mm.
And you're someone who's been doing this for a long time. But again, if you're not if it's something that's off your radar and you're not measuring it, and something comes up, then it's going to start out low again.
Right.
But as soon as, I'll bet you'll be up above 50% tomorrow if you write it down tonight, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then everything gets better, especially internally. I just want to show the.
The measuring.
I'll just show a picture of this. Anyone who wants a digital file of this, I will send it to you. But it's a little tool, a consciousness raising tool we created for our coaching. So in this column, you just put all the areas that you are wanting to improve,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a box for each day of the month. So it makes it really simple to just write that down, or you can just write it down in a notebook every day. Just the category,
And the
siblings, and the number. That's simple. It takes 30 seconds at night, no more than that. And most people won't, when I give them this, invite them to do this, most people won't do it if it's in a workshop or first time coaching.
Yes.
And my theory is, it's just too damn simple, right? How can something that takes 30 seconds at night change my life? In my experience, the simpler the solution, actually the more effective it is. So, so you just write it down, and in most cases, people 3 weeks get above 50%. And I'm telling you, with my clients, everything changes every time. For sure, it changes internally. And then sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the physical to catch up to the consciousness. But ultimately, the physical changes for the better as well. Anything else that I want to say about that? So writing it down every day. So most people say, oh, I'll just do it in my mind. And that'll be
Write it
helpful for a
down.
little while. But after 2 weeks, it's going to fade away. Write it down every day. Guarantee you. I actually stopped for a couple weeks.
How do they get this tool again?
Yeah, just send me an email. You can find it on our website. There's a link to the website there as well. Just send me an email and I'll send it back to you. And I think that's enough for today. Anything else
Yeah.
about self-coaching? Consciousnessly?
You just really have to be more present and think about what you're doing before you do it.
Right.
And that comes with time. It
Right.
just, your conscious will.
And I'm assuming that everyone
Well-
has an intention for the year. We've already talked about that past videos. You know what? A few of my clients do this. And somebody's telling me about a white rock ritual where you write a word on a white rock. And that's your word for the year. A lot of people come up with a word for the year. So, what do you want your word to be for the year? We've never done this before. We're doing it live. First time.
My word for the year.
Yeah. I'll think about mine too while you think about yours.
Wow.
And if you're viewing right now or later, put your word for the year in.
I want to say
Yes, that's Beth.
want to say
Beth, not Elizabeth. Beth.
transformation, but I feel like I've transformed enough already.
I'm going to go with expansion. This feels like a very expansive year for me.
Solidifying. What is the word?
Solidifying?
Solidifying.
Solidifying. Okay, cool. Very nice. Solidifying, integrating. Good, 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 good. All right. What's your word, Naomi? Oh, no sound. Can't hear me is what.
Oh no.
Oh, great. This is one of our best ones ever. Well, it must be on Facebook, though, and we'll
We'll put
maybe
it
we'll
on
share it from Facebook to Instagram. You can't hear a word we're saying. Love you guys. See you next week.
All right.
Give us a share. Give us a like. Give us a look since you can't hear us. All right. Take care.
Oh my. What happened? Oh, that's funny.
I think when that call came in.
Oh.